Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? My name is Adam Chernick, and I am a senior solutions architect at AWS. With me is Luke Hurd from VML. I will leave his introduction up to him. He's doing incredible things. My focus is on prototyping within AWS. We help folks figure out how to build spatial applications on top of our cloud services. There's a wide range of different types of applications that we help customers figure out how to build. A lot of them are immersive applications, building on all the different headsets, virtual reality, augmented reality, but also different types of pipelines, such as point cloud processing pipelines, photogrammetric pipelines, all of the nerdy things that you all love. And so I'm excited to talk to you specifically about not a lot of those things, but brands today, and how we leverage these technologies in order to make compelling and captivating brand experiences. So I'm going to run through these really, really quick so that I can hand it off to Luke, who also has a ton of incredibly interesting things. So here we go. We're doing a lot of work in XR at Amazon and AWS. If you're interested in talking about all of these other things that aren't focused on brands, please reach out. We'd love to talk about these different focuses, but today is all about brands. I want to start with some hot takes, some really important pieces of the puzzle that a lot of folks in the rooms will understand, but some of you won't, and I think these are critical. We talked about these a lot, and these are really, really important pieces of the puzzle. We need to focus on practical use cases. You've probably heard this a lot, but there's so many shiny tools out there. There's so many exciting new things that we can do to try to push these technologies forward. But really, if it's not solving a real-world use case and has stickiness, has the ability to grab users' attentions and solve a real problem, then we're really not going to be moving into adoption the way that this industry really deserves, in my opinion. It needs to have substantial benefit over other mediums in order to gain adoption, right? There are so many different mediums that are so good at telling stories and providing information to users. How much better is this application at delivering information than a video, than a 2D video? Is it bringing a substantial amount of additional value, or just maybe a tiny bit of additional value to some folks? We need to really be critical of ourselves to understand if we are. And if we aren't, then maybe these aren't the right tools for the specific use case. We need smooth user experiences, right? The user experiences on phones and on tablets and on desktop computers is so smooth, and adoption obviously has followed suit. And for us to gain adoption of these tools, we need the user experience of our applications to be insanely high fidelity. It has to be that perfect level in order for the folks that utilize these technologies to have that positive experience and want to experience it more. Love that, love that. Thank you. Personalization is important, right? You see personalization across the board in so many different capacities across the web and across different types of applications. Personalization is important and immersive as well. We need to curate these experiences for these specific users, and if we're not, they're not going to be as sticky as these generalized generic experiences. So I'm going to talk about some things that we're working on at Amazon and at AWS. I'm going to run through this again really, really quickly. A lot of folks don't know that we launched recently Amazon Beyond is an immersive virtual stores within Amazon. So this is live in Amazon.com. We have all of these virtual stores that you're actually able to walk through, navigate fully, click on a specific product, and purchase that specific product from within this immersive 3D environment. And this is a really, really exciting time where we're in these navigable environments. We're inside this store that millions of people use daily, and within this immersive experience now we can make these purchases. So that's really exciting. I'm going to jump to some of the mobile applications and virtual and augmented reality applications that we have built into production, right? Again, this is happening at scale, and this is a big piece of what we want to focus on today is how do we get this to scale to many users. So we have virtual try-on. We have three-dimensional models now integrated into Amazon.com store, and a lot of people don't understand this. We also have virtual try-on directly embedded into our mobile app. So if you have the Amazon iOS app, you might have seen, or if you haven't, pay a little bit closer attention, and you'll see on some product types we have this virtual try-on button. we have right now, we have eyewear, shoes, you can point to your feet. I'll show a video. We have beauty, cosmetics, and we're looking at new product types in order to use these tool sets. And again, focused on real practical use cases. What does this look like on my face? What does this look like on my shoe, right, on my foot? These aren't just fun, exciting things. This is really trying to bring that practical benefit.
Introducing virtual try-on shoes from Amazon.
These men's, yeah, I got them all shook. I came out to play by the book. Yeah, I make the bands, yeah, I got them all shook. These biggest skeptic on a higher metric. Then these frogs trying to fit in, got them playing tech. I came out to play by the book. Yeah, I make the bands, yeah, I got them all shook. Even to the biz that I wouldn't, boy, damn, man, I beat the city. No, I am the study kid. These men's, yeah, I got them all shook.
Try on something you, or try on something new. Try these, try those. Try it to wear it, or try it to share it. Tap from this to that. Find all the styles you love, all in one place.
These men's, yeah, I got them all shook.
And then AI, right? It's not just immersive. We do want to talk about, this is the AI track here. How is AI being integrated? There are many, many different ways that I'll talk about today, but the lower level integrations in order to facilitate a lot of these augmented reality tools that you see are using artificial intelligence under the hood. So I do want to give a huge shout out to all of the smart people in the background who are building out this technology to make it very, very useful and make it very, very smooth experiences. We can talk a little bit more deeply about this, but things like asset retopology and asset optimization, artificial intelligence for that. We're using deep learning for key point detection in face. Like a lot of what we're doing for these augmented reality tools is ensuring that you can do it at the lowest possible latency to make sure that it's as responsive as it can possibly be. Again, back to one of my previous points, to have that premier user experience. Another fun one is view in your room. So this is another feature. This is in the production iOS app. Again, you are able to drop products on your walls and in your living room, right? Again, practical use cases. If you're dropping a, who knows what, an object that, a flat book on a table, is that really helpful? Is that more helpful than just seeing a picture of the book? It's not really, the spatial understanding of a book isn't really that beneficial, but potentially seeing the spatial understanding of a couch to see if it fits within the specific space in your living room, that's bringing tangible value. And so we are building a lot of these things directly into our application, focused on user experience. I'm going to continue to run through this really quickly, but you can see some of the UX that we're building and how it smoothly transitions from wall to wall, and how specific products only are supposed to be applicable to specific surfaces. You aren't supposed to be able to put a rug on a wall, right? And this is a really important aspect. And so focusing on that user experience to disallow those undesired experiences is very, very important. Again, this is using a lot of artificial intelligence, simultaneous localization and mapping, and deep learning under the hood to ensure that when we're putting products on specific areas in your home, that the user experience is appropriate. And so this is a fun one. This is the last thing that I'm going to talk about here, is this prototype that I had the opportunity to build myself. This is an Apple Vision Pro application. This is leveraging the Apple Vision Pro. Amazon Bedrock is our API to access many, many different foundational large language models under the hood. So you can think about, we have access to Meta's Llama models. We have our own models, Amazon Nova and Nova Pro, and many of the other models there in Amazon Bedrock. So that's a large language model. Then we have knowledge bases. Knowledge bases is really important here. Many of you have probably heard and understand what knowledge bases are. Large language models don't know anything about your custom information, your custom proprietary data. And so how do we give these large language models access to this proprietary data is through knowledge bases. And so, for instance, I built this virtual product expert. Also, there's this piece on brand curation in here that I'll talk about. But basically, we built this virtual product expert that now has a bunch of information about that product itself, the specification, the manufacturing details, all of its height, width information, all of the information that you could possibly find on a site such as Amazon.com now is embedded into the product itself. So you're able to speak to the product, speak to a virtual product expert, and obtain all of the necessary information that you would ever want to know about this product in an intuitive, immersive experience. Can you tell me about the consistency of the heat?
1 second while I grab that info. The dual cover gas grill features internal heat zone separators that allow for independent temperature control in each cooking zone. This ensures consistent and even heat distribution across both grilling surfaces. It also has stainless steel flame tamers that help reduce flare-ups and distribute heat evenly across the cooking grates for consistent grilling results.
So super quick demo, you get it, right? Now all of this embedded information that isn't pre-trained into these large language models is now accessible to your customers at low latency. So we're doing a lot of interesting things to make sure that the round trip time, for all the tech nerds in the house here, we're making sure that the round trip time and cost and all of these things are optimized so that now we can do this at scale. I'll just get to the last slide and hand it over here. You know, why hasn't this been done more? And it's because there were very difficult problems to solve. The large language models might have gotten good enough to do this 6, 8 months, 12 months ago, but we needed the rest of the ecosystem. We needed the guardrails in order to make sure that it's safe so that, you know, we can do this at scale. We need to disallow people from asking ridiculous or unsafe questions to these bots. We needed knowledge bases, we needed evaluation tooling, we needed all of these things in order to make sure that we can put this into production at scale, and now we're here. So it's a really exciting time for all this, and that's really it. Wrong button, sorry there. And that comes back to the last point that I want to make is that we need to use tools that have been proven. And XR-related business decisions are really just business decisions. This is a really important piece of the puzzle, is that we need to focus on these high practical, high effort to impact ratio. So that's always what we're coming back to, is what's the effort to impact ratio? How can we reach users? How can we improve our adoption of these tools? And so those are some of the fun things that I've been working on and I'm excited about. So thank you all. And here's Luke.
Hi, everybody. My name is Luke. I was here last year, and I famously forgot my belt and used a USB cable, and guess what? I did it again. Okay, that's the way it works, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. My name is Luke. I work for VML up here. I work for, their company is owned by a company called WPP. I do work for Wendy's and Coke and Microsoft and Dick's Sporting Goods and this laundry list of NASCAR logos over here. My job as experience designer, I do pretty much anything that touches anything that's spatial, immersive, or just strange, which is kind of the title of the room we're in now. I also do work for National Geographic. I've been doing work for them for quite some time, a lot of mobile AR work across landing rovers on Mars to doing stuff with climate change and dinosaurs. All very fun stuff. I also do work and have been doing work for Coachella over the past 4 years or so. This is one we did 2 years ago that I haven't been able to really show off too much here, but it was a fun thing we did for a takeover that we did with Nike, and it also has a fun little secret piece of it that has a raffle that you can take your Snapchat username, it'll encode it in a barcode at the bottom, and you can go take it to the booth if you won. So this is all kind of an end-to-end experience that all sat within Snapchat. There it is. So the idea here is that we're talking about things that go to scale. These are large events, but are not scalable. What I've shown here. This is a scalable experience. Now, I talked about this for about 2 minutes last year, but this is something that we built at VML, WPP. We do work with Coca-Cola. We did a thing where we made AR reactive cans all around the world. It was a global launch. AR reactive cans, probably to this audience, not the mind-blowing thing, right? We can do that. What's interesting about this is that when we go from this to this is my kitchen here, we start off with an idea that's not scalable. It's a small prototype. This code did not make it to this. But this sold it to the client. That's a beer can, by the way, with a thing taped to it. But the idea here is like it starts small and it gets really big. So how do we scale that? How do we get to that scalable piece? These are actual slides from the deck that we use for some of our strategy. Hopefully I can show them. So just saying, we always start with a problem point. We're not starting with technology. We know that we had a partnership that we needed to work in with Marvel, but the problem point was not how do we work this in with Marvel. It was what problem do we solve for people. So Gen Z, of course, that's where we're going to focus on. That's usually the people who are going to be scanning cans, not my parents, but my kids. So the idea here is we want to learn some insights about them. We start, again, from a problem point because it doesn't scale without this. Without solving some sort of a problem, giving some sort of a value proposition, it might work for a day or two at an event. It might be fun for an art show. It might be fun for an immersive experience. But for a scalable thing, a scalable tool, that's a more difficult thing. So when we get down the path of finally getting our insights, then we start building kind of like, where do we start tapping into these insights? How do we start tying these things together? So what do Marvel fans want? They want deeper world building. They want more access to Marvel. Again, nothing here is about XR. This is all just problem solving in the space. It all leads to the same path, though. So as we kind of, again, work towards that scalable thing, these are all slides from our deck that we use internally. This is the stuff we just show internally to try to inspire ourselves of like, what's our red thread of what we're building for? What value do we give to the fan? So the can itself, okay. So this is the initial sketches that we had. We're like, oh, we want Wolverine popping out of a can. We ran a couple things through Midjourney for some Marvel stuff to get some inspiration, and kind of just said, oh, we like this idea of this sketch drawing. We don't want to lean too much into other IP. We want to control that piece, and how we make that show up on a can. So that's where they come contact me, and they're like, can we do this? And then I made that little prototype, and then we go sell it to the client. So there's a lot of work that goes up front for the scale piece, and a lot of it is really just answering the question, why? Why will this work? So then we actually go do the hard work of doing the boring stuff where we sit in a room and we get Post-it notes out and we try to figure out what does each experience to do, what does this character do, how does this character interact with this other character, do the cans have to be right next to each other? My job in there is to keep everything on rails to some degree, let them dream as big as they can, but still try to keep it somewhat rooted in realism. And then we think about the global aspect of it. So Coca-Cola is a unique experience. So Coca-Cola exists all around the world. So we had to do this with 32 characters, 6 combinations. Math is weird there. I promise you it works. And then you think, okay, 32 characters, 6 combinations, that's 32 cans. Wrong. There's 50 countries. Coca-Cola is split up into things called OUs. These are areas that Coca-Cola works in. There's the North American OU. There's the European OU. The OUs control how the cans are printed. They get the designs and can change them before they get to the printer. If I'm trying to react to a can, how the hell do I do that? Here's all the cans. So not only do you have, these are cans from Taiwan. These are normal Coke cans, but if you look on that last stack, got some shorties up there at the top. That's fun. These over here are thin cans. These are actually, I think, in Indonesia. This can over here, and they have different text. This will say original taste. This one says Rasa Asli at the top. The text is on top of Wolverine over here. It's behind Wolverine over here. There's a lot of marker things going on here. A lot of things going on here that make this difficult. And on top of that, there's bottles. So we think about, okay, how do we have Wolverine rip out of a can? It might not be a can. It could be a bottle. How do we do it in Indonesia versus... So think about how many cans we have to think about accounting for on a global scale. So it becomes far more than just the video of the thing popping out of the can. It becomes like, oh, well, how does somebody actually do this in Indonesia with this can that we couldn't control the printing of, and how do we react to it? So you can see they're similar. You can see kind of the way that we tried to figure out how to track. Obviously, it's with the illustration. But then it reduced what our experience was. So it was like, okay, we can't have them rip out of the can, but we can have them interact. So you scan the can, Iron Man appears, and then they can go interact with each other. There are a couple GLTFs that do some fun things and can interact. This work was all done by Subversive out of Austin, Texas, by the way. So this is a global scale. This is far beyond that. So this little thing that I built in my kitchen with the beer can and Thanos ends up being this huge campaign that crosses the world. It ends up being things that scale to printables, to things where people take photos in front of it. It ends up being featured on news articles and other things. And then it has, of course, what all of these things do, which I think is on here. No, it's not. We use AI tools, of course. And over the past, I would say, probably 12 months, it's been my job within my agency to try to figure out what AI tools to use from an experience design standpoint. I'm a developer. I've been a developer since 1993, so I make things. And so when I do experience design, I tend to lean pretty heavily into the prototyping and building stuff because I like doing that too. So we use Cursor, we use Windsurf, we use things like, we play a lot with the Figma MCP that just came out to try to get some of our designs over. Some of the stuff that we also use to try to get some of the quick prototypical things done. We had somebody contact us and say, we need a low-hanging fruit thing for Wendy's, for March Madness. Wendy's is fresh, never frozen. We want to freeze the webcam so they can go watch a game, so they can get out of work. So I basically, on the call, just Googled, how do I data mosh with JavaScript, and figured out how to data mosh, figured out how to do the audio mosh, and then went to Cursor and built it in about 15 minutes, and even asked it to publish it to the Chrome store for me and write all the reviews, or write all the submission guidelines and everything. 15 minutes, literally 15 minutes. And that made its way all the way through. They have a whole submission video for it. There's a case study on it. It took me 15 minutes to do. So, but I think that those tools and the way that we think about prototyping is important in the XR space, because most of the work we do is that beginning space. It's that inspirational, can this be done? Yes, here's the Rails version of how this can be done. And I feel like the AI tools that have come out, especially if you're capable about reading the code, which I think is very important. It's very garbage in, garbage out. If you're not a good writer, AI is not going to make you a good writer. If you're not a good developer, AI is not going to make you a good developer. You have to be able to read what's coming out of it in order to understand what that is. So I think that when you have those roles in XR and we start seeing more and more capable people who can prototype quicker, you're going to see more of these like 2 to 3 hour experiences. One thing I'll end on really quickly here is this is a scary world a lot for the people in my agency. I'll say I get a lot of people asking me from the copywriting side, from the creative side, from the developer side, from the XD side, if I can use magicpatterns.com to go generate Figma layouts, do I have a job anymore? And that's where the garbage in, garbage out kind of comes from. So my wife is a content strategist at VML. She puts together content strategy for Coca-Cola. The questions that she asks AI about content strategy are far different than what a small business owner would ask about content strategy. The output that she gets is a far higher fidelity because she knows how to input it properly and get the output correctly. Same thing with the work we do. If we were to go to Cursor and say, I have an 8th wall project and I want to make it this thing and I want A-frame to do this and I want to tap on it and go here, it will Frankenstein the shit out of that thing. But if you say, hey, here's my idea, go build this button that does this piece, and you work on it, refine that button piece by piece, which I'm sure a lot of you in here have already started doing, that's where the magic, I think, comes with what we do. Because the tools we use can be a little complex, they can be hard to grasp, and they can be very, very difficult to wrap your head around, especially if you're a CMO or somebody who does not work in this space. So prototyping XR stuff is like the way to sell it. It's just the way to put it in front of people and the way to get something that goes from a kitchen to South Korea on some sort of a global campaign scale. So that's what I have. Thank you so much.